Welcome to Sportsbet Daily at Oddsmarket.com. Serie A and La Liga midweek action. We did that show on Monday and we'll do the weekend action on Friday to let them get their games out of the way. But Bundesliga, normal service presumes with the two lads. We've got Alex and we've got Radek. How are we, lads?
All good. Thanks for asking.
So we've got to start off. Radek special comes in last week. 3.6 Radek.
Yes, I'm glad that this Radek's bet was in the middle. And yes, my analytics were correct that Hoffenheim and Wolfsburg are meeting in a draw. And so, yeah, let's see. I have another Radek's bet for today. Maybe I'm lucky again.
Yeah, well,
that's the good thing about draws. You only have to win every third. So
I often say that. I mean, it's the forgotten team. I mean, if you can't split them, you should go down the middle. I mean, a lot of people can't split them. They leave the game alone. But maybe 6 or 7 times out of 10, if you can't split them, then go for the draw or go for the under. I think that's just another way of playing it. Alex, you looked at the card. Anything really jump out at you?
Yeah, the price on Bayern Munich destroying Paderborn on the road before the Champions League fixtures next week. I think that Bayern Munich are a scoring machine right now, and despite sitting second in the standings there, 2 points behind RB Leipzig, I think that they have the best attack by far in the domestic league right now.
Okay, well, let's get underway, Radek. We'll start with you. Union Berlin, 3.1, draw 4.6, and Eintracht Frankfurt, 2.37. Where are you going with this?
For Frankfurt, but I'm not, I don't have the balls to put a win bet on Frankfurt here. That's why I make Asian Handicap 0, draw no bet on Frankfurt, because I think Union Berlin has to struggle a lot, and they won't win at home, I think. So, but there's always the danger of a draw in this game as well, in my eyes. Yeah, if you see an odd like this on Frankfurt, you have to bet on it, at least with a draw no bet. That's why I take it. And the draw no bet odd is about 1.65.
Okay, that's unlike you. You normally like your bets to be around the 2. Alex, are you following him in?
Don't hear him.
Yes, sorry, it was for me. So yeah, I said I cannot trust Eintracht right now. Yes, I know that they kept Dortmund to a 2-2 draw last weekend, but still I cannot understand how Dortmund managed to throw away again points on the road, always struggling Dortmund. Yes, I think that it will be a tough game for both teams. Union Berlin, the first team that beat Dortmund this season 3-1 at home. Usually at home, I trust that Union Berlin can find the back of the net, but not on the road. Eintracht with a good performance, decent performance, let's say, against Dortmund. They didn't deserve the point. It was a non-goal in the last minute of the game. Andre Silva with his first goal for Eintracht Frankfurt. I think that he won the fight with Bas Dost, and I think that he will be in the starting 11 also this time. Union Berlin, a stubborn team, especially at home, newly promoted side. They will do everything to win points there. Alex Classic for me all the way at 1.72. Both teams to score and the over 2.5 goals in the match.
Okay, and I quite like the draw at 4.6. I must say, I think it's a nice little 1-1, maybe even a 2-2. But I definitely think I think the draw, I think it's a very cagey game. Okay, we'll stay with you, Alex. Naughty step Dortmund, 1.25. Draw 6.6. Werder Bremen at 13. Home form for Dortmund, completely different to their away form.
Yeah, home form for Dortmund always great to take the value from that. Mats Hummels is missing this game due to small injury. Actually, he is questionable. He's not 100% missing this game, but I don't think that he will. Lucien Lefebvre will risk him before a Champions League match. Mats Hummels, you said at the beginning of the season, what a shit a transfer for Dortmund. But let me tell you the numbers right now. He's the best. He's the best central defender right now in the domestic league.
That's a load of garbage. That is a load of garbage. I've seen him play. He's not up to speed. He can't run. He gets done ball watching. That's where stats are so misleading. And you remember, Dortmund have 88, maybe 70% of a game. And all they do is pass it sideways. And honest to God, I saw it. I've seen him 3 or 4 times. He's nowhere near the player he was.
Without him, they conceded the last goal. He was replaced in the second half against Eintracht, and they conceded the equalizer against in Frankfurt there. So I think that they always struggle without some key defenders with experience. Doesn't matter if they are slow, but in Bundesliga you have to be big. You have to have a little experience with strikers from your opponents, and maybe you will help your goalkeeper not to concede in that match. But yeah, Dortmund at home, a brilliant attacking side. Werder Bremen, first match they failed to score this season in the 3-0 loss against the leaders, RB Leipzig. Last season, Werder Bremen, just one time they didn't score all season long, and that was against Bayern Munich. This time, they managed to not to score in the last round against RB Leipzig. I don't expect them to win this match, but I expect them to make it tough for Dortmund. I expect them to contribute on the scoreboard, and I'm going for Dortmund to win and over 3.5 goals in the match at 2.2 with the Paddy Power.
Yeah, seems like a good price, Alex. To be fair to you, Radek, are you going with Dortmund?
Kind of, yeah, but there are a lot of right things Alex said already. So my bet is over 3.5 without any other specials, just the goals on the side, because the point that Hummels might be missing is even better. I made up this bet before I knew that he will be missing, or maybe is questionable, because I think the home power speaks a clear speech for Dortmund, and Bremen is the key fact, because they had a lot of missing players, and they have still missing some players. And I think Dortmund, these odds are kind of correct, and they will hurt Bremen as well as Leipzig did last week. And I also see it, like Alex said, that Bremen is able to score as well. Maybe the old one, Pizarro, is back in the game, if he's not one of the injured ones. And yeah, we will see. I think I like the price of 1.8, I think, with over 3.5 goals here.
Okay, undoubtedly on paper, the game of the weekend in Germany is RB Leipzig at 1.6 draw, 4.7, and Schalke 5.9. Schalke, you never know what you're going to get, Alex.
You never know what you're going to get with Schalke. Yeah, bad start to their season, but after that, 3 wins in a row. But you can simply not oppose RB Leipzig right now. They are absolutely amazing. They have a rock solid defense. They have just 3 goals conceded in 5 matches. The best defense right now in Bundesliga. They are unbeaten. They are top of the league. Just 2 points away from the maximum points after 5 matches. They managed last round to score and keep a clean sheet with 1 man down, and they beat Werder Bremen 3-0. I simply cannot take off this trend right now. RB Leipzig for me to win and over 1.5 goals in the match at 1.75 with Coral. I think that RB Leipzig have the necessary weapons to score at least 2 goals on their own. This is why I'm going with this bet. I'm seeing Schalke struggling to find the back of the net on the road there. So I see a 2-0 result, maybe 3-0, who knows. But definitely RB Leipzig, I'm seeing them winning because they are absolutely organized. The Nagelsmann is doing an amazing job. Absolutely amazed with this team, despite the fact that they don't have star players inside their team, right?
Yeah, that can work. That can work. When your confidence is high, you don't need stars. You just need that chain to be as strong as it possibly can be. Radek, Paderborn 19, draw 9.7, Bayern 1.17. Everything points to Bayern win, but how do we get the value?
Because of Bayern is in a great condition at the moment, and they have internal fights for positions. You know that with the acquisition of Coutinho and Ivan Perisic, they have a lot of more options on the wings and in the middle of the pitch, and that's why even if Bayern has Tottenham in their minds because they're playing in the Champions League on Tuesday, I think even it's better if they play the players who are not always on the pitch and they want to present themselves, and I think that is more dangerous for Paderborn. And in my opinion, I think Bayern must win high. You can't bet on a very weak team like Paderborn here. In the first 3 matches, I thought Paderborn is really vivid and good for the league because they only play straightforward football. But now I think completely different because I think they are the weakest team by far in the league. And if Bayern is in a normal shape, why shouldn't they win with three goals difference? And that is the point, because you get an odd of 2.0, which means Bayern has to win 50% of the games against this Paderborn with 3 goals difference. And I think Bayern should win more than 50% of the games with this space between the two teams. And that's why I like the odd. And even the Bayern odd is really, really low. With Asian handicap minus 2.5, I think it's still value.
Okay, 2.5. Is it 2.5 for you as well, Alex?
I'm on the same train at even money. Yes, you can see not only that they are fighting for who will take the spot in the Bayern starting 11, because I think that Niko Kovac will rest some of his players right now, but they have one of the strongest bench squads in Bundesliga and also in Europe. You can see how united they are. Let me give you an example. Robert Lewandowski scored a brace last week against Köln, and he had the opportunity to make it 2 hat-tricks in 5 matches in Bundesliga, and he offered Coutinho the chance to score from the spot because he wants the new players to adapt quick, to feel like they are part of the family there, and to start helping them match by match. Bayern Munich are looking very, very good right now. I think that, as Radek said, Paderborn are the weakest team in Bundesliga, and we should go against them week in and week out. No wins, just 1 draw in 5 matches, 14 goals conceded, second worst defense after Mainz, against the best attack in the league with 16 goals in 5 matches for Bayern. That screams goals. Bayern Munich minus 2.5, banker of the week in Bundesliga.
Banker of the week, not worried about team selection there. They say the bench is good enough to win by 3 clear goals. Okay, Radek, give us your special. We're going to Fortuna Dusseldorf, 2.45. The draw, 3.75. And Freiburg at 2.9.
I think I mentioned it last week as well, that I think Freiburg is clearly at the limit of their abilities. So Freiburg made a perfect start for their abilities, and now it's time to get back to reality for Freiburg as soon as possible, or sooner or later. And I think they can make a close game in Dusseldorf, but I think the Spider-Man of Dusseldorf, as Alex always said, Sex Steffen, the goalkeeper of Dusseldorf, is a very hard wall. You can't easily score against him and Dusseldorf, and that would be a problem for Freiburg. Maybe they are the better team, but I think they won't win in Dusseldorf, and I don't think that Dusseldorf will win this home game. Everyone would be happy with a draw, especially me, because I give you the Radek bet here, a draw for 3.75.
Okay, 3.75, the draw, Fortuna Dusseldorf against Freiburg. We've already had Alex's banker. Bayern Munich, minus 2.5 Asian handicap at 2.0. Radek, give us your banker.
Yeah, it's hard. I think all bets we mentioned are really good, but all can be as well broken. So if he says Bayern, I say Dortmund against Bremen with over 3.5 goals.
Excellent at 1.8. Right, gentlemen, let's hope you have a great Bundesliga. Nice to have the Radek special in last week. Let's hope we make it 2 out of 2. Keep up the good work, and I'll speak to you both soon. Cheers, Alex. Cheers, Radek.
Best of luck, guys.
Cheers. Good luck for the weekend. So that's Bundesliga out of the way. We now go from Mexico City last week for UFC 160. We find ourselves in Europe. It's Copenhagen, it's Denmark. If you hear me say UFC, there's only 2 people that are going to pop up on my screen, and that's Jason from the Sports Keg and Dave Betts. Now, Dave Betts hasn't got a very good connection, or he's having computer problems, so it's just me and me mate Jay. How are you, pal?
Good, buddy. Monday night was a lot.
Has he muted himself?
What's that?
Say again, Jay?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I did like it quite a lot when he was just like that.
I said Monday night was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, you just go over exactly what happened on Monday night. I think all parties came together, and all the different personalities, I thought they gelled really well.
Yeah, it was a fun time. You were dead on, man, like throughout the entire night. You had 2 Americans and a Canadian, dead wrong, up and down the game, and you were dead on the money all night. So well done.
A blind squirrel always finds a nut sometimes. So I'll it's fish and chip paper now, Jace. It's gone, isn't it? It's gone. We have to start again. You start from 0 every week.
I think I love your angle on Thursday night. I agree. I'll be on the Packers with you. And I got 3 fights to break down. I'm ready to go. Yeah,
you'll have to excuse me with my pronunciation. It's the first time I've seen some of these, but I'm going to go for it anyway, just for the comedy value, and obviously no disrespect meant at any stage. I'm going to go for Jack Hermansson versus Jared Cannonier.
Yeah, last weekend, the MMA fans around the world were robbed of what should have been a fantastic fight. The main event ended like 10 seconds into it because of an accidental eye poke. This week we have another main event. It should be an entertaining one. 2 middleweights. They're in the top 10, both trying to ascend into the title picture in Hermansson and Jared Cannonier. Cannonier, he was a heavyweight. He dropped in class to a light heavyweight. And now for the last few fights, he appears to have found his true weight class at middleweight at 185. But when you take a look at who he's beaten the division, David Branch he beat, and old Anderson Silva on his way out. The kid's an athletic freak, but he's very raw as a fighter. He doesn't have a ground game at all. If he can get you down, he can keep you down only because of how strong he is. But what he brings to the cage basically is his striking and a solid chin. He doesn't have a technical striking game, but he gets by on brute strength and power. His chin has been tapped a couple times, but I think Dominic Reyes has been the only guy that's actually dropped him. I don't hold that against him. Multiple fighters with good chins have gone down against Dom's power. On the other side of the cage, I'm a big fan of Jack Hermansson, man. I like the kid a lot. He's now cracked the top 5. His last fight, he shocked the world and beat Jacare Souza. He grew up as a wrestler. He probably has the best top control game at 185. His ground and pound is sick. Very solid range striker, but he normally has trouble against southpaws because he can't extend his power shots over a southpaw's lead punch when he fights. But when he fights an orthodox opponent, he can plan his entire striking game plan behind his lead jab, which is excellent. And luckily for him, Jared Cannonier is an orthodox fighter. So that sealed the deal for me, thinking that he wins the fight. But, we don't bet fighters, we bet numbers. And the problem is, at 1.45, it's slightly too high for me, even though I think he wins the fight. So the props haven't been dropped on the market yet. So what I'm going to do is I'll be looking for props when they open. And anyone watching could check out the Oddsmarket Twitter account or the Keg Twitter account for updates on if I end up having a pick on this fight on Friday. But I have to wait until the props drop only because, regardless if I think he wins the fight, I think 145 is just a little too pricey.
Do you think he goes the distance? Is that a prop you might look at?
It's tough, Flash, because it's a main event. It's 5 rounds. It's 2 rounds normal, 2 rounds further than your normal 3-round fight. So, my gut says probably not. My gut says it probably doesn't go the distance.
So if we're going over an extra 2 rounds, we're going to go for the 5. Surely you go for the stronger man, Hermansson.
Yeah, he's definitely the more polished, more skilled MMA practitioner. Right. Definitely.
Okay, well let's move on. Here's another name I'm going to have trouble with. Is it Kutalaba against Khalil Roundtree?
Yes. If I had a banker, this would be it. I think the odds should be wider than they are, in my opinion. Anytime Kutalaba has fought anyone worth their salt, he has lost. He couldn't beat Misha Serkinov. He couldn't beat Jared Cannonier, who we were just talking about. And he couldn't beat Glover Teixeira. He has wins over Da Silva and Antigolov. In the UFC, that's it, though. He's basically a Sambo fighter that kickboxes. He has a vague background in Roman Greco wrestling, but not enough for it to be impactful. He is slow. He has terrible takedown defense. His defensive footwork is non-existent. And when he is on his feet and in trouble, he's in bad form. And that's a big problem when you're fighting somebody like Khalil Roundtree. The kid is a monster. He's an athletic freak. He is incredibly light on his feet for someone that's as big as he is. He hits like a Mack truck. I always thought that Roundtree was a fighter that had unlimited potential, but for some reason he wasn't putting it together. But, he knocks out Paul Craig. I'm like, okay, but that's Paul Craig. He steps up and starches Gokhan Saki, but it was only 2 minutes into the fight. It's hard to gauge, was it a lucky punch? Was it not a lucky punch? He then loses to Johnny Walker, who is one of the great prospects currently in the UFC, so I don't hold that against him. but he moves to Thailand after that Walker fight, completely revamps his fighting style, comes back looking like a quintessential Muay Thai striker. And what he did to Eric Anders for 3 rounds should have been illegal. It was one of the best performances, start to finish, in my opinion, in 2019 so far. I loved what I saw from him. And if that version of Khalil Roundtree steps into fight Saturday, Kudalaba better pack a lunch because he's in trouble. At 1.79, I am all over it.
Is that to win at any time?
What?
Is that to win at any time?
Yeah, that's to win, period. Yep.
So really, that's not far off a coin flip, is it? And I'm not hearing no coin flip in your voice.
No. I think that he is a substantially better fighter after what I saw last fight compared to what we've seen Kudalaba do the last 2 years in the UFC. If I'm setting that line, Flash, I'm setting that line at more like minus 220, not minus 125. So I think there's almost a full dollar's worth of value in the line.
And you think the line will move?
I think the line, from what I've seen, is moving towards Kudalaba. I want to say last night I saw it at minus 144. I could be wrong, but I think I saw it at minus 144. And this morning he was minus 130. So I don't understand. If that's the case, I don't get the line move. I think these two guys are night and day compared to where they're going in the UFC.
Okay, I'm not going to chuck you under a bus here, but obviously I've got a couple of fights that I know that Dave would have done. We're going to go with Alicio Ducherico and Makhmud Muradov. Do you know or can give me any sort of angle on these dogs?
Not really. I mean, I've seen Alessio Di Chirico fight before. He's solid. I think he's got a good striking game, but I haven't watched any tape on the fight so far. Okay. So the only fight that I've already watched tape for that I know Dave is on is the Macy Chasson Lena Landsberg fight that he is going to have in his punching parlay.
Okay,
so
well, the other one,
that's where I'm at.
Well, the other fight, I mean, obviously you can go, I've got to send you to oddsmarket.com, where obviously Dave would have done his articles anyway. Over the next few days, look out for Twitter. I'll make sure that I retweet them. If you're not following
his
Dave
dogs
Betts,
article is up right now.
There you go. So, I mean, you can read and keep reading and find your own angles. The other one he said was Nicolas Dalby and Alex Oliveira. That was another one for Dave. And I just want to say this name because I don't think I'm going to, so I'm going to shock myself if I do. Mikhail Alokshchuk against Oven Samprou. Do you know anything about them?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, Oven St. Preux. He's a light heavyweight that has been in the UFC for a long time, probably a decade. I've never been super impressed with Oven St. Preux. I don't know what side that Dave is on, but I've never been super impressed with Oven St. Preux. If I know Dave, my guess is that he is probably fading him and betting the fighter against him just because he doesn't do anything special in the octagon at all. He's a solid striker. He has a solid wrestling background. But other than that, he has traded wins and losses in the octagon for 10 years. He's never gotten higher than ranked 5th, I think, in the light heavyweight division. So I don't know for sure, but my guess is that Dave would be fading him. The other fight, Alex Oliveira, he is one of the great submission specialists in the history of the UFC. But I like Nick Dalby a lot. I think he's coming in on short. I think he was in the UFC actually a few years ago and then left the UFC. And I think this is the first fight that he's going to be coming back into the octagon from a regional promotion. I like him a lot. It's a grappler versus a grappler, And my guess is that Dave is probably on Dalby. I don't know for sure, but I think if the fight probably goes the distance, they probably roll around on the ground for 15 minutes, is my guess. But I don't know. You'd have to go to.
Yeah, go and read.
Yeah, he is. He's on Dalby. There you go. I just went to the Oddsmarket website. Yep, he's on Dalby to win at 2.45 for a half unit.
And that's all I should have said, really, because I know that my piece to him was dogs and odds, because he loves them. He's been having so much success, as you have. I'm going to wrap this up because I want to get back to finding Roundtree's price around 1.79. I'm looking forward to that. And then I'm even looking forward to it more is seeing you on Friday for the NFL show, because
I can't wait.
We are hot.
It's unbelievable what me, you, and Spread Astaire have done in 3 weeks on that show.
Yeah,
winners,
Spread's,
and more winners.
Spread's not here to give himself a pat on the back, so he's just been copying us. We'll give him a bit of hammer this week.
Anybody that's watching, Flash and I are going to be on the Packers tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
If you can.
Without a doubt. I've already put my pick 6 up as well. But listen, we'll save it for Friday. And there's another one to add to that I'm going to be putting up at some stage today that I like. But until then, Jay, keep up the great work. Loved it Monday. Hopefully we get the nod that we're going to do it some more Mondays. Until then, you take care, mate.
Thank you, buddy.
Legend. Absolute. Love working with Jay and Dave Betts. Even though he weren't there in person, he was definitely there in spirit. Go across and have a look at his article at oddsmarket.com. In fact, go to oddsmarket.com and have a look at every single sport that we have content on, which is near enough every single one, and they're all in profit. Until tomorrow, Premier League punters, that means the boss is back. See you tomorrow.